So with a big majority of people looking for a successor for Fairy Tail and also something to fill that boot, and another series that has huge potential and catching up to it is definitely something I'm going to be talking about today, as Fire Force with 100 chapters, I can say, has been something of just an absolute joyride, because this series has been getting up there with some amazing, enjoyable characters, some great fights, and also as well, which I'd like to say, if people who have been looking to fill that void with Fairy Tail, I definitely think this is a great opportunity to start reading something new. So immediately you can say, like, why exactly would you recommend this to people or this series? Well, also as well, Hiramashima was also pushing this series as well. He did a crossover a while back with the author of Fire Force and Soul Eater, like Okubo, and not to mention, you can thank like Mashima for pushing Best Girl Tamaki in this series, like next to Hibana. Like, I'll admit that, but it definitely does have that vibe very early on in the series as well. Not to mention as well, your main character Shinra is kind of a little bit of the chuckle fuck, like kind of like what Natsu is. But I definitely think one of the things that absolutely helps this series, without a doubt, like regardless of where stories are, I think one of the things that matters the most in a series to me is its characters. Do the characters have a lot of great moments? Are they enjoyable to actually listen to read? And with how the series has been raising up in popularity recently, only being recently released over here in like English-speaking languages, I definitely feel this series has the potential to actually get there once an anime announcement happens. And I will fully admit, like, Fire Force is nowhere near this perfect series already, but it does have a pedigree as being like the previous author of the series making Soul Eater, which I have a lot of enjoyment and love for Soul Eater. It was one of the first few animes that I did watch when I first started becoming an anime fan, and I had such a huge love for some of those characters, and it's kind of nice to see some of those characters like coming back in Soul, like they're sort of spiritual successors to a way. I'm still waiting for some of them and all that. I'm still waiting for one of my favorite bays of all time. I want that Blair a little bit back there. Like, Blair was Best Girl in entirety of Soul Eater, and as well, we finally got characters that I feel like have that sort of chemistry with each other, because that helped a lot in Soul Eater, where it's like, you got Soul and Maka. I still don't think, like, comparing, like, Black Star to Arthur, where, like, two of these characters I feel like have the most chemistry, but I still think Black Star, like, I prefer him a little bit, but Arthur so far is mainly my favorite character in this style. Pretty much the entirety of the 8th Brigade has just been an absolute joyride to being with, and, like, they act like a family, they act like a squad, and each of them have, like, unique and interesting powers. Like, even Shinra, where it's like you have the simple concept of, like, he can produce flame from his feet, but it, like, dwells deeper when you find out a little bit more about where exactly he got this ability from the first place. A lot more to be relative, like, with also as well what happened to his family as well. Like, there's a bunch of stuff, and I will still say, like, early Fire Force, like, or Fire Brigade players, whatever you want to call the series, I still think it's the weakest part of the series. I feel like how it originally starts up, where it's like it's trying to set down like where exactly it wants to take these characters, and I feel like it doesn't fully progress until we go against that Star dude like very early on, not to mention when we get like the organization being finally introduced. Like, we've also got the Adora, but like finally more concepts and things are being added on, and it's not just like here's another guy with a flame power. Like, Arthur, one of the main characters, has a unique ability with his sword of plasma, and the more delusional that he is, like, about his reality, the more he's just incredibly stronger with his powers. Also, I really do not want to get into too many spoilers with the series, but I definitely want to say one of my favorite moments in the entire series thus far is definitely something with Arthur having a fight with a certain character, which I can think you can say went a little bit Natsu END on us, or a little bit. Like, I can definitely say that's one of my favorite moments in the entire series thus far. It is a fantastic short little fight, and it has an amazing resolution, and like immediately I would say, like, out of all of the 8th Brigade, like, every character so far has like some great moments on there. I love Obi. Obi is a badass, like, considering that he's the captain. He doesn't really have powers for the most part, and he doesn't care. He'll still keep fighting for the most part. Like, Shinra, I feel like, has improved. He's still not one of my favorite main characters, but I think it definitely helps with, like, his color, how he acts with the entirety of the crew. I definitely think, like, Tamaki adding into the group as well has made a, like, I do like Maki as well. I'm not gonna lie. I know, like, Maki is some people's best girl, but I'm still putting Tamaki and Hibana over there. They're still really good. But then again, if we want to talk about some characters I still think need a little bit of work on, that I still think they're the weakest part of the series. I think Iris, and especially Hinawa. I know some people like Hinawa, but to me, I've never really cared for him. Every time I look at him, I'm just like, oh, it's that fucker from Kuroko. It's just the guy that keeps getting 3-pointers. Like, that's all I ever see from the guy. And like, to be fair, I feel like he's still kind of one of the weaker characters so far. I still think like he needs a little bit more time to shine before I really care about it. But like, out of everyone in the series and all that, I feel like it has such a great vast amount of characters that I love, has some really fascinating like fight scenes, has some amazing art, and I feel like how they're pushing it so far, and I think it is doing pretty well as well in Japan, and I don't know too much over here, but I feel like it will get a lot more popular if it does get an anime announcement. And I'm more saying that because this is around about the time where a lot of series get their announcements. I feel like since like Soul Eater was a success over here, I feel like it has potential to do very well in the West, and also as well, like, I think it did pretty well over in like Japan as well, and they did re-air the anime, so I'm really hoping the fact that they do announce this sometime soon, since normally around about 80 chapters to near 100, this is normally when we get some announcements of some kinds, and the rankings that we do get to see for like Fire Force does pretty well in the rankings of Shonen Magazine, and I feel like now that Fairy Tail's gone, this is a very good replacement series, like, especially where it's like you got the two sides of it, where it's like you had such like an amazing, way better magic series where you got 7 Deadly Sins, and then you got this series as well that like it especially focuses on the thing I love, and it's just a cast. I just want a great cast that has some enjoyable, good ass fight scenes, and just overall, like, I think definitely where they're setting up with the newest arc so far. I will say chapter 100 was pretty interesting where we're going with this, and also as well there's a character named Panda as well, so of course slightly biased with this series a little bit now, like they're adding me into it, but fuck it. Overall, I just want to recommend it, and I know I just don't want to get into spoilers with the series, like, because there are some great moments that I just don't want to ruin for people. All I can just say, great cast, amazing choreography and fight scenes, like, I absolutely adore, amazing art. I mean, it's the guy from Soul Eater. If you've ever seen any Soul Eater, like, manga panels, like, they're just beyond amazing, like, from there. Like, I cannot wait for, like, more of that stuff just to dwell in the future. And whether or not I'll be reviewing some chapters, I probably will do some in the future and all that. I'll probably try and find a nice point not to start it off, but we'll have to wait and see, like, for the most part, where the series is going to be going. But so far, definitely recommend. I definitely think this is sort of a successor to like a sequel to Fairy Tail, and I definitely think, I know that's where a lot of people and all that kind of wonder, where it's like, well, are you going to do more Fairy Tail content? And I definitely feel like we should definitely push people more onto new franchises and new series as well. I definitely feel like that can like scratch that itch for the most part. So I want to know what you guys especially think and all that. What is your favorite scene so far, like in the entire franchise so far? Who's your favorite character? Definitely still going with my boy Arthur. Like, he's still up there for me right now. But that's all for me. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you guys though next time.